Hey everyone, this is Jen with Planting Science. Currently, we're gearing up for that fall 2023 session, and we have a number of our participating research groups for F2 are in the process of uploading their rosters, and not all of them are ready to start assigning students into teams. And so as a result, we have rosters of students going in with no teams attached, and that's creating some questions about how do we easily add our kids to their right teams if they're already uploaded. And I had made a video about this last night, actually, and then realized today that I can give you a much easier way. So this video is going to be the updated version. Just in case you happen to cross the older one, I'll be deleting that and putting this one up in its place. But I am also going to use this time to just revisit how you add mentors as well, so that it's all kind of in one easy video, since that's the stage most of our users are kind of entering right now. So, to start with mentors, I'm going to come down to members because that's where our mentors live. And as you can see, I am currently logged in as the teacher, but the liaison would be able to see these same things. Mentors will not be able to see all of this, but liaisons and teachers both can. So you'll see in this all tab, we have, you've probably seen this in the previous video, but, we have our manager team here at the bottom. Members, invited mentors that have accepted or people who have applied that have been accepted will be in your current member area here. And then if you have any pending or invitees, they're going to be sitting here. One thing, just as an aside, because it's important and bears repeating often, if you do have prospective members sitting here, make sure that you're checking and dealing with them on a regular basis. You don't want any invitations hanging out there that you don't need anymore, and you don't want to leave people hanging if they've applied. So in this case, we have an invitee. We'd come here and we'd look, and you'll notice that it's turned pink. That means that it's been a while. As you can see, I'm doing this in September, and this was said at the end of August. So it's been a bit. If this were a real group, I'd be canceling this invitation and issuing invitations to other people. But that's just to remind you that that's important. Make sure you are doing that on a regular basis. But now I'm going to come to the members tab. So the all tab is where we were, but we're going to come here to members. And you'll notice here's where all the mentors are going to be listed, just the mentors. And we had Hub Zero add in this feature for this session, which is such a godsend, I can't even tell you, where when a mentor has been assigned to a team, the name of the team will appear at the bottom of their card now. So now you can just kind of tell at a glance, oh, I've got Jennifer hasn't been assigned yet. I better make sure I assign her to a team. So then what you're going to do that is you're going to come down to the projects, and you're going to find the team you want to assign them to. So in this case, it's going to be Team 2. Now you can click here, or you can actually go into the project and click on Team here. Seems like kind of a roundabout way, but depending on where you were when you started, it could be easier. So you're going to come here, and the screen's going to look the same no matter what. You're going to come to Edit Team. And so you're going to come to the Edit Team page. So just one caveat about this page. This Add New Members As box needs to go. And I've asked Sub-Zero to get rid of it. They promised me that they will. It just isn't gone yet. So please don't do anything here, because this is an artifact from an earlier way that we uploaded students and people and mentors to teams, and it needs to be disabled now. Where you want to go is here, where it says select members from your group. So you're going to click on that, and you're going to find the mentor you want to add, and you're going to check their box, click Save Selection, and now they'll be added at the bottom. Now you're not done yet. Okay, so before you go, okay, great, and you move on, make sure that you look at their role, because the system has a tendency to assume you mean to add the person as a student. So we are going to click here on the role. It will open up this drop down. You can select from the drop down that you want them to be a mentor, and you want to click Save. Okay, now it's important that you do that, because it's not that if they're not set as a mentor, they can't mentor. It will still look much the same to them. But what will happen is, as the system is tracking who has been active most recently, it will assume that your mentor is one of the students and that you have a mentor who's not doing anything at all. So make sure that this title is correct. All right, so once you're done, then it's time to make sure we have students in here. And if you, like I said, are a teacher who uploaded your roster so that we could get those PS usernames for our research, but you had not yet loaded your students into teams, this is going to be how you take care of that. So we're going to come back to projects again, but this time we're going to go to the students tab. And you'll notice that we have a couple of students that are added to things, but like we have project 1 added, but the rest of the students are just sitting there wide open. So what we're going to do, instead of I could come here to the crayon and I could select from this drop down and put everybody in the group that they should be in. But that is long. If you only had like 10 or 11 students or something like that, then that might be the fastest way to do it. But if you have more than that, there's a more expedient way. And that is to come here to your export tab and select the CSV option, which will open a spreadsheet. So as you can see here, here's our spreadsheet. Oh, that's not the right one. We want this one. Okay, so here is the spreadsheet for this one. It's roster 16. I want to take note of that because I download a lot of rosters. And in this dropdown, you're going to have a username column that you don't need anymore, at least not for what we're going to do today. So I delete that column. And I also clear this one out just to make sure that everybody's information is the same. So this is best to do before you've given students their passwords because it will overwrite their password. So I'm going to actually do it again. Because if I have two of them in a row, it won't pick it up by increments the way it will if you otherwise drop it down. And then under projects, I'm just going to put the number of the project I want them to be in. So, I'm going to do this kind of randomly. Oops. But in your case, you're going to, however you have them organized is the way you want to just put in the number of the group that they're supposed to be in. 1 and 2. Okay, so now everybody's got a number here. All right, I'm going to save that. And when I come back to the website, I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on Create. And I'm going to click or drop file. And I'm going to find that roster 16 that I just created. I'm going to open that. Okay, and it's going to draft in the names of the students and it's going to draft in their projects here. So at this point, it hasn't done anything, but I do come down to the bottom, just make sure that all those look like they're correct, and then click Create. And what that's going to do is it's going to overwrite these existing accounts. It's not going to make new accounts. It's going to overwrite these existing accounts and apply the project to each one. So you see all those numbers that I put in there are now updated. And that's the easiest way to do it. Now, the caveat with this is that what this means is that if you have two students whose names are Sharon, you want to make sure that you include their last initial or some other way to differentiate them. Because the system cannot have within one group, so underneath you in this group, you can't have two students named Sharon that are spelled the same way. So you could either give one a nickname or you could put like their last initial, like we did here with Scott B. Do not put their full last name, that we don't want, but make sure that you put something in there that will make sure that every student's first name field is unique so it doesn't overwrite itself. But again, you can do that as many times as you need to. If you need to overwrite it again, just make sure that all those first names match. If you want to rearrange them again and do it as one big upload, you can do it that way too. And that's it. Now, if you ever need to delete a student, you will go to the project page again, to the individual project team, and you can delete them there. That might come up if, say, you have a student who transfers out of class. Like, say, for example, that Viola moves midway through, and I realize that she's not going to be a part of this team after all. I might check her box and click delete here. But you will not be able to add students here. Do not come here to add students. You won't be able to do it. There's no good way. All right, so we're just going to delete that. Click delete, and you're done. Now Viola's gone. Now, one thing I will say, though, one last little bit of a caveat. If Viola is a part of this project team and they start mentoring, it's generally not a great idea to delete them if they have posts in the system. It's better just to leave them as an account that's inactive. That way you don't have confusing names and they're like, who wrote this later on? So just make sure that I wouldn't recommend deleting any students once projects are kind of underway, especially if that student has been posting to the updates feed. It just creates confusion. Okay, so that's that. That's how you do it, and it's certainly much easier than doing it by hand. But if you are still intimidated by it, it's a lot of steps, especially the first time you try to do it. And I know it's a sort of a complicated looking scheme, so don't hesitate to reach out for help. It's one of these. This is one of those steps that is so important that I'm willing to walk you through it, or even do it for you if it comes down to it. So, just contact me at psteam@plantingscience.org if you have any questions at all. All right. Best of luck. and have a great session.